Every wrestling legend follows their own path to fame and glory, but you won't be crowned wrestling royalty without harnessing the power of the masters to ignite your quest. Your rise to stardom begins at the feet of giants, and the only way to earn a legend's respect is victory. Training with the best is never easy, but wear those bruises with pride. You're going to need all the help you can get to unlock your potential and win the support of legendary wrestling icons. Once they're on your side, those legends become extremely powerful allies. Enlist their help as managers to energize your team. Wield their awesome power moves to tilt the match in your favor and unleash your own brand of mayhem. So, get ready to begin your legendary journey, because it's time for WrestleQuest!
How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific 3 Eastern, Sundays 3 Pacific 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific 1 Eastern, and Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is Wednesday on this show. You know what that means? We have a lot to talk about here today, including tonight. Winter is coming. AEW Winter is coming. Arlington, Texas. We have a number of tournament matches here tonight. 4. At the beginning, this was Gold League matches on Dynamite and Blue League matches on Collision. That has changed. We now have Gold and Blue League matches on Dynamite here tonight, as well as a number of interview segments and other matches as well. We'll tell you about that. Also got the lineup for next week's NXT. It is Wednesday, so we have the world-famous NXT report, and man, that wasn't much of a show, not going to lie. But we'll tell you about it later on here. We have also got the update on ticket sales for Final Battle, which is coming up on Friday. They actually have sold a bunch of tickets since they added that match with Moxley, Claudio, and Danielson versus Dax and Cash and Mark Briscoe. Dynamite tonight, 5-minute overrun. We'll talk about that. Monday Night Raw ratings. Monday Night Raw ratings down. And I'm sure that people are jumping to make some comment about CM Punk. But CM Punk did a gigantic quarter for his confrontation with Seth Rollins. We'll tell you about that. Also, Tony Khan had a media call talking about Final Battle. We'll tell you what happened there. Tokyo Sports Winter, which we mentioned yesterday, but there are a couple of other things. And The Rock is going to be portraying an MMA legend in an upcoming film. That's right. So that and so much more. If you'd like to text us here today, 425-780-7566. F4W Online at gmail.com. F4W Online on Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. At Bryan Alvarez on Twitter. And a lot more. Back in a moment. Observer Live.
Excuse me, the twins, and yeah.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. A lot to talk about today. Winter is coming. Arlington, Texas tonight. Currently, $33.99 is the attendance, so sold about 300 tickets since yesterday. About 823 remaining, according to WrestleTix. And four tournament matches here on this show. We've got the Gold League matches. Jon Moxley versus Swerve, which will be the main event of the show, I'm sure. Probably a bloodbath. Roosh versus Jay Lethal. And Jay White versus Mark Briscoe. Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe mathematically eliminated, but they can still play spoiler. And then we also have a Blue League match, as Brody King will face Andrade here on this show. So a Blue League match added to the Gold League show. We've also got Riho and Ruby Soho, Hangman Page and Roderick Strong. The Von Erich family returns to Dallas, and we will hear from Samoa Joe, and we will hear from the Golden Jets. That's Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. So that is the lineup for the show tonight. And in fact, Tony Khan on Twitter yesterday did announce that this show has a 5-minute overrun. Thanks to our great partners at TBS, we have an overrun of 5 minutes planned for tomorrow night, live on Wednesday Night Dynamite. We'll see you all tomorrow. We're excited for a 5-minute overrun on TBS on Wednesday Night Dynamite, starting 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And, man,
no one's more excited than you, boss man.
Dude, well, no, here's the thing. Yesterday on Twitter, everybody's just going crazy. And
it's a good place.
Why did he bother even making this announcement? He should make a real... I'm like, listen, and these are idiots, okay? Announcing the 5-minute overrun the day before accomplishes many things. Number one, if you do, and I'm not one of these people, by the way, if you do have a DVR, you can set it to go long. If you want to, whatever your streaming service can handle, you can set it to handle that. Whether it's record the next show or set it to go long or whatever. We have a mutual friend who's also an idiot, and he basically said, what kind of idiot can't figure out how to extend the time? Well, as we've explained, you can't do that on YouTube TV. I feel like I've explained this 50 times, but these idiots don't listen. So anyway, by announcing in advance, the people who are capable of doing that can now do that. But the most important thing?
What's that?
When you decide over a day in advance, well, then you can alert the cable and television and YouTube TV providers, etc., that you're going long, and in fact, the overrun will be recorded.
What a concept.
This is a benefit to everybody, and if you're complaining about this and this announcement, quit immediately.
No, it's a benefit to them too, because they can now continue to complain about something. It's perfect for these people, because they're going to complain about anything anyway, so it doesn't really matter here, and they don't have to do this anymore. You did it once, and unless you plan on going like a half hour over, because the sociology of wrestling fans, it's been into, your head now since the 90s that shows could go 7, 8, 9 minutes over. Now, from this point forward, unless you plan on going a half hour over, you don't have to announce it. The only thing you need to do is give yourself the extra time, because I'm sure YouTube TV is not the only one who does this. And look,
it's not.
I'm a YouTube TV person. This has been the only time I've ever had to deal with any of these issues, because I've always had a DVR before. But again, there are a lot of people who use services like YouTube TV who are having this issue, that it just makes it very simple to go as far over as you want to, but give yourself a cushion with the stations and let this stuff get out digitally.
So that's tonight, everybody. We'll review it tomorrow, and later on in this episode, we will talk about last night's NXT, and that show pretty much sucked. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
nah, it pretty much sucked.
It's a placeholder.
I didn't like it. But we will review that later. I think some people are like, they're full of glee that I'm going to talk about the stuff on NXT that sucked.
Your description is how they described old Chase U there last night, Andre Chase. Looked like, you know.
What does he look like?
I can't say it on the air. They bleeped it.
Now listen. No, they don't all suck. See, that's what here's another one, you know. Lucha Gato, go do something else. Get off the chat. God. So irritating. Listen, sometimes the show sucks, and sometimes it doesn't. Last night sucked. Last week didn't. It's the way it is.
Yeah.
Don't sit here telling me every single one of them sucks. Especially because I know you don't even watch it.
If you don't like campy, because a lot of the show can be campy, then you're never going to like it. So there's no point in fighting over it or any of that sort of stuff. You can just tune out when Brian decides to do the review about it.
No, Lucha Gato, do not tell me what NXT is. You don't watch it. Stop.
Sometimes that
I'll tell DJ to ban you, okay? That's next. That's the mood I'm in today. You don't watch it. It's impossible. You don't sit here and tell me that every episode sucks if you actually watched it. Because if you do, you will find that some of them do suck and some of them don't. Just like every wrestling show. So stop that. Brian Rose, you're allowed to as well. Stop this crap. I had it up to here with this today. I had it up to here. You understand? Now, Raw, don't get me going here. I'm sweating. That's never a good thing. I got a lot of stuff going on, you know. So I don't need to have additional sweating on top of everything else.
No flop sweats in the air.
Yeah, Mod Wars coming up next.
Oh, my God, your voice almost went right there, too. You really are having it
Thank
today.
you, Gato. Put yourself in timeout for a while.
Look at this dude.
Yes. Now.
Get it back together.
Raw on Monday, 1.466 million viewers, down 4.4% from last week. It's the lowest total audience for the show since November 17th. Now, there were football games airing head-to-head. We had the New York Giants, the Green Bay Packers, 11.4 million. And we had the Tennessee Titans and the Miami Dolphins, 7.3 million. And then there were some other stuff that people watched as well. But Raw today, 0.46 at 18-49, down 6%, and the lowest rating for the show since November 10th. So, obviously, you know, kind of normal numbers.
Yeah.
CM Punk is back. Mm-hmm. So, of course, people want to say, well, he means nothing now. Well, that is incorrect. Because we have these quarter hours from WrestleNomics. And this was one of those shows where it's not exactly a straight line. It was kind of the usual, just a slow decline over 3 hours because of the time of year. Like the show opened at 1.6 million. It ended at 1.25 million. So just a gradual decline. But then in the middle of this gradual decline, it shoots straight up in the air. Went from 1.504 million to 1.9 million for the CM Punk Seth Rollins segment. And then when they were done, the show fell down to 1.43 million viewers. So, yeah.
They saw what they wanted to see.
He was the highest rated thing on the show by miles, him and Seth. And so at this point, he still means something for these numbers. Now, it didn't help the rest of the show, I'll tell you that much. And probably significantly more people, in fact, it's a guarantee that significantly more people saw it at the beginning of the 10 o'clock hour than if they had held it off until the end of the show. But 1.8 million, that's, no, 1.9, sorry, 1.881. I don't want to mess this one up again. No. I did that last time. I don't need to deal with that. I got enough.
And that was against 2 NFL games, one of which was on ABC. So it was, the number held up very well overall. And then obviously that segment was what it was. So I don't know how anybody can really complain, except when they complain, Brian.
Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Yeah, I mean, in 2018, 2019, I was at the lowest point in my life. My addiction was in full force. I didn't leave my apartment. I was drinking all day from sun up to sundown. And I never thought that I'd be back in professional wrestling. I thought that I was just going to keep existing a miserable existence like I was, staring out my apartment window at the sun setting every day as I just drank myself to death. And, you know, I guess the light bulb went off, and I think wrestling was a big part of how I got sober. You know, I always, my first love in life has always been professional wrestling. From the time I was going to shows at Madison Square Garden as a very young kid. And you know, there came a moment where I actually believed if I got back on track, I could make it back into the world of professional wrestling and make it to the top of the world of professional wrestling. And I really believe that in my heart. I know a lot of people, they say things like, I believe I'm going to be the man, or I believe I'm going to be the world champion, but you could tell when you look in their eyes, they don't actually believe it. I really believed it. I thought, if I can get back on track, I am going to make it back to the top of professional wrestling. And now I'm AEW World Tag Team Champion, sitting at this table as one of the top guys in you know, AEW, and I would say that that's the top of the professional wrestling world. So I did exactly what I thought I would do.
And Bill, that is unbelievable. That is unbelievable, and I am really proud to say that AEW's been a part of this, but really what you've done on your own, and it's amazing the journey you've been on. That was an incredible story, and your story is incredible. And something else that I find incredible when you told me this is that this championship, this AEW World Tag Team Championship that you hold with Ricky Starks, that you, Big Bill, this is the first championship you have ever held at any level of professional wrestling. That is astonishing, and the fact that you've come so far and from where you came back from, it's pretty amazing.
Back here on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live.
This man is done already, folks.
Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com.
Not me, Brian is. Well, I understand why, too, some of you folks. Corey Conway,
I'm trying to move on here.
No, I'm going to call it out just like I'm you right now, okay? I tried YouTube TV as a trial and didn't like the recording feature, so I bounced. Isn't that the easiest recording feature in the world?
It is literally
plus symbol.
It's not even the easiest recording, but like you have an unlimited DVR. I could set it to record every single show on television, and it would just record absolutely everything
and hold it for months.
Yeah, months and months and months. So, but hey,
but if you want the MLB Network, it's not on there. It's not.
Tony Khan had the media call, and he said Friday's
a lot of words.
Final Battle streaming special was, quote, something to consider. He used the phrase 3 times. Once when asked about making a change with the Ring of Honor tag titles, considering both MJF and Adam Cole are injured. Another when asked about the decision to have Samoa Joe vacate the Ring of Honor title instead of losing it in the ring. And again when discussing MJF actually appearing at ROH's TV project on Honor Club. It was a largely non-newsworthy call, it says here. Khan did confirm that he met with officials from the CW in 2022 in LA about bringing Ring of Honor to their network. He felt that the time wasn't right. Hasn't had a lot of detailed conversations about ROH's TV future, saying he is excited for both AEW and ROH to hit the TV rights market in 2024. Said the relationship between himself and WBD is strong, but that ROH is still a third party in the relationship. He said there is strong interest out there for both properties. The match he talked about most was Athena versus Billy Starks, which is the main event. It's an angle he has been personally involved with on a week-to-week basis. Isn't that every angle? When asked why Athena hadn't defended her title on AEW TV, Khan simply said he would be open to it. It's your company, brother.
Yeah, and not only that, you're trying to make ROH special. I thought that was one of the reasons why she has not defended the title on AEW TV, was because you were building this whole thing with her minion Billy Starks, and she has had 22 or some sort of, incredible amount of title defenses. Yeah, I guess that was an answer, and maybe it's completely out of context, but, it doesn't make anything sound really special or anything like that. Like, no, you want to see Athena, you're going to have to pay to see Athena and watch her on Honor Club, and you're missing out if you're not watching it. Not like, okay, well, maybe she'll show up. I'm open to it. I get it, but I don't know. Him, sometimes with his answers, at these things, it's the wrong thing said. I think we heard that when he came to hyping up some of the ticket sales for All In 2 already, and I don't know. Some of his conferences and media calls are tough to listen to.
When he was asked why Joe didn't drop the title in the ring, he said he wanted Joe to be a focus of AEW, and it would have been a challenge to have him defend the TV title while doing that.
What?
Why?
What? You had a guy injure his foot and is now out of action forever, a partner who's got a bad hip who injured, and they still defend the ROH tag team titles. I think Samoa Joe could pull off defending the TV title, or you could have built it into the storyline where there was some sort of reason, some way that MJF caused a distraction. Somebody did something, and Samoa Joe put over somebody on AEW television for that World TV title that got people excited, and then they saw it and maybe wanted to watch Honor Club. You could have did that, I guess.
And he said there might be more of a Lucha presence to be announced for the show, and stay tuned for the final entrant in the Survival of the Fittest TV title match. And then when he was asked about the subscriber count for Honor Club, he did not answer. So the show is at 2253, which is, that's not good, but like a couple days ago it was at 1,000. So they added the Moxley, Claudio, and Danielson versus Dax and Cash and Mark Briscoe, and 1,200 tickets have been added since they announced that match. So that's good. Still 1,500 tickets left over, and the show is a Friday.
And that's what building?
I forget. I didn't write it down here.
Okay. Well, regardless. But yeah, I mean, I know Athena and Billy Starks obviously is the main event, and that's the thing that they have been building to, but it was important that they got FTR and Mark Briscoe on there against the Blackpool Combat Club. That was a savvy move, and it really probably wouldn't hurt them to add something else to either regionally that may move a couple of hundred tickets, or, something big to try to drive some interest to that as well, too, because again, I don't know how many buys that they're averaging for these ROH shows. I'm sure that they're holding their own pretty well, but on a Friday night going into a long weekend here where people's attention as we're going towards the holidays and people's money is a little short right now, it probably would be a good thing to try to throw something else at this to try to entice people to buy.
The Rock, of all people.
Dwayne
The Rock Johnson, as Dave likes to call him, Dwayne. He will be playing, of all people, Mark Kerr.
Well, they got some things in common.
A24 Films, the company behind Iron Claw, announced on Monday they will work with Johnson's $7 Productions to produce a movie based on Kerr's life. $7 Productions originally announced plans for the film in 2019, with Kerr having given the project his blessing. The film will borrow the name of a 2002 HBO documentary on Kerr titled The Smashing Machine, which covered his career and struggle with addiction to pain medicine. That was an awesome documentary, by the way.
Incredible.
Yeah. And Ben Safdie will serve as writer and director. Dwayne and Benny are singular talents. Their shared vision for Mark's inspiring story is electrifying, said Noah Sacco of A24. We are deeply honored to have their trust as collaborators bring this incredibly special project to life.
Hey, let's keep it a buck. He said in the opening that, he's a legendary MMA fighter. He's not, and really, when it comes to his career, but there was this legendary moment in time that the Smashing Machine came out where you got to see behind the scenes for the first time, at least to my knowledge, in my world, of being able to see behind what goes on in Japan, being able to see into a dojo and seeing him interact with Boss Rutan and seeing his real-life issues with drugs, with the woman that he was with, and the issues that caused. And also, from what came out of that, was a story about Mark Coleman, and that's another incredible part of that documentary is it's almost as much about Mark Coleman as it is Mark Kerr. And if you can find this documentary, I would suggest you watch it, whether you're a wrestling fan or a fight fan. It doesn't matter. It is a universal story that, again, really shows an incredible, incredible moment in time when it came to the mixed martial arts universe.
Yeah. Trying to look here. You got the Tokyo Sports MVP. We talked yesterday. Tetsuya Naito is the MVP. Sucks to be poor Sonata, who was the IWGP Heavyweight Champion pretty much all year.
Leave him alone!
What do you mean, leave him alone?
You are on Sonata constantly.
Well,
you had to get in your dig about him yesterday.
Hey.
They tried something with the guy. You can't fault him for that. They gave him the haircut.
I can't.
No!
Of course I can.
No, you
know
can't.
Who they tried something with back in the day is Jinder Mahal.
You wait a second.
And one day, ironically, right before they were about to go to India, they beat him, they did. Because they were like, let's run our course here.
They tried something with Dominic Mysterio, did they not? And
it worked out great.
You were all about, exactly. You never know how things
And I told you that from day one, but no one wanted to listen to me about that one. Nobody wants to listen to me about Sonata. And then the best match. Are you ready for this?
All right.
The best match in all of Japan in the year of our Lord, 2023. The top match was the Great Muta and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Hey, this is how these awards work.
It is definitely how these awards work.
Hey, you got to try.
If you would have just read that first, the rest of these wouldn't even matter.
But that was a spectacle. I mean, look, I understand why they did it. And, obviously, look, there's a reason that they give an MVP award and then give like a fighting spirit award, because there's the one that, is the big deal. And Naito going into probably winning the IWGP title at the Dome, winning the G1, all that great story and everything. But Keno was probably the real wrestler of the year. But, these awards are what they are. They're all subjective anyway. And there's really, I hate end of the year awards.
We all know the real match of the year if we're going to do it like this.
What do you mean?
The real match of the year.
Omega and Ospreay?
No, are you kidding me? Chono and the Great Muta was the real match of the year. And if you don't believe me, ask Tom. He'll agree.
Heirs Trist.
He will agree. So I'm sure Dave will spend an hour on that tonight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He wants to do a show, everybody. Can you believe that?
And you know what? I hope he does it on... Is he going to do it on Hawaiian time?
Well, I mean...
Because I want it to be
he's going to fly somewhere else to do it? Yes, it will be on Hawaiian time.
Like normal, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely not.
Yes, and it'd be 6 o'clock in the morning your time, and you would have been up all night. The kids are already awake, and that's when you need to be talking about this stuff and waiting as he looks up the Dome show lineup to talk about.
I got it right here. I don't know why you didn't just ask me. I got it all right here. Make it easy for everybody. Back in a moment. NXT Observer Live.
Welcome to the special tour of Figure 4 Weekly Headquarters, as promised. Today I will be accompanied by my assistant Vincenzo, so let's get moving. Hey, don't worry about it. Today's a special day, I'll drive. Vince, today's gonna be a good day, so let's not F anything up, okay? Now, I'd like to tell everybody, I just want to give a short speech on the way to the compound here today, and that is that we are going through very tough economic times right now. Right, Vince? It's a time of stock market crashing, the yen is devalued, a time of woe and want. And many of you watching this right now, for all I know, are unemployed. But the good thing is, and I always like to look on the bright side, as Vince is well aware, the good news is that for every dark cloud, there is a silver lining. And the silver lining is that Figure 4 Weekly is doing great. It's a huge success right now. Subscriptions are up, quality is down, profit margins are skyrocketing, things are going very well. So, the one thing is that I don't want to make it seem like money is everything, because money cannot buy happiness, but what it can buy is enormous houses, and that makes me happy. So, we will be going to see my enormous house, the Figure 4 Weekly compound, and that's where we're heading right now.
Back at the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. It is time for the NXT report. All ready for this?
I am.
It opens up with Carmelo and Trick showing up, and Trick is being mobbed by reporters, having won that great match on Saturday. And Melo goes into the building by himself. And they show the opening video package, and when they come back from the break, Melo's down, holding his knee. Trick is freaking out. They're trying to figure out who did this. Melo says he didn't see who attacked him. Then we have Cora Jade in the ring. This Melo thing wasn't that important, apparently. They just cut to Cora Jade.
To the ring.
Yeah, and she cuts a Cora Jade promo. If you watch the show, you know what that means. And Lyra interrupts. And
this was every bit of why it is developmental, because you know when they get to the main roster, there are going to be times that you have to do a 10-minute opening segment with multiple people coming out to interrupt each other. So I get that this is training for that, but in the moment, boy, was this long. I don't know how long it actually went, but it felt like forever.
Anyway, long story short, Blair comes out, we get a brawl, Nikita Lyons returns to make the save, and it sets up a match for later on. This segment was just like, I don't know, man. Just the whole show for me. Dragon Lee did do a promo, and he's a nice, friendly person. And he explains that he's all happy his dream came true. Cornered by the greatest luchador of all time, won the first title he's ever won in WWE. He said this never would have happened if Wesley got hurt. So he wished Wes a speedy recovery, and he says, I'm going to do what Wes would have done. I'm going to defend that title as much as I possibly can, and that starts tonight.
Well, hopefully he didn't pick up his personality flaws in the time of defending it, though.
Then we add the Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, Fallon Henley versus Noam Dar, Oro Mensah, and Lash Legend match. And this match was fine. I mean, the issue to me is, like, they couldn't follow last week's with Otis. Like, last week's match with Otis was just, like, it was incredible. And so here it was just, the Virgin, the Fornicator, and Vinny's favorite, Fallon Henley. And Tiffany Stratton hits ringside. She starts brawling with Henley. The ref's looking right at this. It's not an DQ. And then Briggs, I'll give him credit. They've decided they're going to do something with Josh Briggs.
Yeah, they do.
And he won, and he got his way into the Iron Survivor Challenge. Then he did well in the Iron Survivor Challenge. And this time, I mean, man, they gave this guy the hot tag. And you know what he did? He ran wild. He beat the crap out of everybody, and he got a pin. Mm-hmm. There was no back and forth. There was no cut the guy off. He just smashed Noam Dar with a lariat, pinned him. And looks to me, I thought last week when Chad beat Noam Dar, it was going to lead to like another Heritage Cup match or something. I think that was just like the end of Alpha Academy and NXT, and they wanted to make sure Chad got his win back. Because now they've switched all this to Noam Dar versus Josh Briggs.
And they should, because it looks like that is also playing into a storyline where Fallon is
it sure is.
The Fornicator is successful, and then you have the poor Virgin standing there, with it in his hand.
So the doctor was checking on Carmelo. That would not be unusual for the Virgin. Doctor's checking on Carmelo, and he says, and I quote, "Everything appears to be fine." And so he's good to go for SmackDown on Friday. And Trick
That's why CM Punk decided he's not going to go to NXT. He's had enough with these doctors.
He was there yesterday, all day.
Yeah, but he didn't sign there.
So Trick wants to know who attacked him, and Carmelo says, "I don't know, but I've been hit like that before, and I'm going to go to the ring and call somebody out." Oh, Lord help me. They introduce all the men in the breakout tournament. So they introduce all these guys. I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm sure Vinny wrote down all of their intangibles. Just freaking ridiculous. And then they're all standing there, having been announced for this tournament. And Lexus King shows up, and he hits Trey Bearhill. Okay? You guys seen Trey Bearhill? Probably most of you haven't. This guy's he's a brontosaurus. He's just enormous.
Lineman, yes,
absolutely enormous.
Idaho.
So Lexus hits him with one chair shot. And he's been killed instantly.
Well,
he's out of the tournament. He can't compete in it. Even though he doesn't have a match this week, it's like, he ain't going to make it next week either. Like, he's out.
That same doctor apparently.
He has been removed from the tournament.
Gotta go.
Then we had Oba Femi and Miles Bourne. And this is just like the women's tournament. It's like everybody's green. And so they choreograph the match from start to finish. There's no life in the matches. Like, they're whatever, It's like they're bad. It's just, they do a choreographed match for 2 minutes, and Oba hit a pop-up powerbomb, pinned him. For what it was fine, but it's just, I'm watching Cirque du Soleil with way less flips and confetti or whatever. Then we had Lyra Nikita.
Wait, which show had confetti?
Guys, this Lyra Nikita meeting backstage. When I was a kid, I watched Saturday Night Live, and then, back then it was like funny. But then Saturday Night Live, it wasn't so funny anymore, but people kept watching it because just they did. And my wife watches it now, and she thinks it's funny, so maybe it's funny again, I don't know.
Well, the news is good.
But I will tell you one thing. I don't think there's been anything on Saturday Night Live in the last 30 years funnier than Lyra and Nikita's meeting backstage. And there was another one later that was even funnier. Were any of them meant to be funny? No, they were not. But they were funny.
This show was made for the CW. I'm telling you, this show is actually made.
Oh yeah,
it
is. It's gonna this thing may do 3 million viewers on the CW. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh man, I hope it's
gonna be their new breakout hit.
The sandwich between old reruns of Paternity Court and Couples Court with the Cutlers.
So then we had Tiffany cutting a promo. She's sick of Fallon. She's never lived a life like me. She serves people like me. She's poor. She's not a star. I'll show her where she belongs in life, and she'll never measure up to me. Then we had Dragon Lee and Tyler Bate. So, this match actually ended up quite great, but the absolute irony is we have two great workers, and for the first 3 minutes, they decided they were going to do like a whole bunch of heavily choreographed mirroring spots, and man, one botch after another. I don't know if people actually noticed it watching, but like they botched one thing after another. And then finally, by about the 4-minute mark, they got into their groove. And then from that point on, it was pretty great. And Dragon hit the running Destino, got the pin. And I pray they do another match because I don't think they could possibly have a worse match than this. And like even this match was quite great. So man, on pay-per-view, they could have an incredible match. But this ended up being good. Then we had Fallon meeting with Brooks and Briggs. So I cannot say the acting here was great, but there is a story here. And the story is that Briggs is all excited. He says, man, I won the match. I even pinned Noam Dar. I think I'm probably in line for the Heritage Cup. And the Virgin says, that's not really your style. And the Fornicator's like, what? And Brooks says, you're more of a kind of a one-punch knockout guy. This is all about rounds and putting in time. And Briggs goes, yeah, I'll just knock him out. Brooks goes, And Briggs says, listen, you said I did a great job in the Iron Survivor Challenge. That's not really up my alley either. You said I did great. Brooks goes, all right, let's do it. Let's go for the Heritage Cup. So you can see where this is heading. The Virgin, man, he's full. He's had enough. He's fixing to blow. Lexus King, looking exactly like Brian Pillman, is backstage and he's laughing at what he did, and Ava is there. Ava says, man, Sean is angry. In fact, everybody in this tournament wants to beat your ass. Lexus says, that's awesome. That's what I do. And then, he's trying to hit on her on top of everything else. And she no-sells him and then says, well, Sean has decided you will be replacing Trey Bear Hill in this tournament. I'm like, what a horrible, horrible decision by Shawn Michaels. God. And we had Dijak. And
anybody that goes back and watches that segment, go ahead and start it in slow motion so you can see how many motions that Ava makes with her face and her hands before any of the dialogue even begins. It's like she's completely just been zapped into a new place and is trying to figure out what happened.
We had Dijak and Eddie Thorpe, and they mentioned that Eddie Thorpe's young niece is in the audience again. Well, the last time she was there, he was in a match, and he got the living bejesus beaten out of him, and he was killed, and I think bloodied and just like a wreck in front of his niece who's just wailing and crying. It was horribly uncomfortable. And so they announce again that his niece is in the audience. I thought, oh no. And in fact, they killed him in front of his niece for the second time. He got powerbombed into the buckle, and the buckle broke. He almost killed himself, like legit. He almost hit his head on the metal part on the back of the post, the corner. Oh my God. And she left him. He was left for dead again. Stop bringing her to these shows. This is horrible.
You're saying that like Dijak wasn't busted open and the one bleeding all over the place.
Well, he was, legit, but God, they just killed this guy. Chase talks to his students or trying to raise money, but then Thea goes, he's up next. Chase goes, all right, you guys can all go watch. Then we had another all-time hilariously bad back and forth with Blair and Cora. Oh. I mean, you got to watch it, guys. I'm begging you. Go watch it. Then we had Keanu Carver and Riley Osborne. So the story is that Thea Hale has a crush on Riley, who also goes to Chase U. And he's a handsome young man, and, he's total white meat babyface. He gets the win with a shooting star press, and that's all that. But let's not bury the lead. This Keanu Carver, this guy's going to be something. Like, he was way more impressive than Riley. And he signed in February, and it's November. And, he was by far the most impressive guy in this tournament thus far. He's a big dude. if I had one criticism, it's that he sells too much given his size. Like, he's standing there and Riley gives him like a kick to the head. And this freaking guy takes a giant, massive bump for this one kick. A great bump, but it was like ridiculous. So then Riley hit the shooting star and won. It's too bad. I like this Keanu Carver.
Are Akam and Razor, are they still technically signed there? Because put those two in the ring with Obafemi and this kid and just have them slam into each other at top speed, people would be losing their minds down there.
Then we had Thea meeting with Riley, and she's all nervous, and they're doing a crush angle there. And then Blair and Cora versus Nikita and Lyra. And Nikita and Cora both looked like they had ring rust, but they're both coming back from long time off. And finally, Lyra and Cora bonk heads. Blair hits Lyra with a Kamigoye. Nikita takes out Blair, and Cora crawls over, and she pins the women's champion. So I think they might actually be doing a three-way at New Year's Evil. So instead of just the winner of the tournament and the champion, they're going to add Cora Jade. And then I'll need all night tomorrow to talk about this Tatum Paxley thing. Just an atrocity. And the worst part is, like, Tatum Paxley's got a new gimmick, I think, but I'm not sure. Because every time we see her, she has a totally new makeover. And I don't recognize her ever. Like, every single time I'm like, who is that? And it turns out it's Tatum Paxley. And I'm dying. And then we had Joe Gacy being stupid. And then Trick comes out for a promo. Ilya comes out. Carmelo comes out. And long story short, Carmelo blames Ilya for attacking him and Trick. And Ilya starts laughing. He goes, "What are you talking about?" And, you know, Carmelo's trying to paint this wild picture. And, you know, the fans are chanting, "Melo's guilty." And so finally, you know, Trick goes, "You don't deserve that title." Or Carmelo goes, "You don't deserve that title. Trick does." So he grabs the belt, and him and Ilya are having a tug of war, and the belt goes flying, and it knocks down Trick again. And the fans, they don't believe Melo for a second. And, yeah, that was a show. Thumbs down. Like an actual thumbs down NXT, that's coming from me. I didn't like it. But anyway, back with more Observer Live.
Jacob, I do want to ask you, because we're talking about pro wrestling, and one of the best pro wrestling storylines that has been going on, like the last year and a half. You know where I'm going. It's the Bloodline. I want to get your thoughts on what Roman Reigns is doing, the Usos, Solo, you name it.
Man, they've been in there, putting in work. I mean, we're talking about 3 years straight with the storyline. But I'm a fan overall. I'm a fan, and the crazy thing is, just because I'm related to them, when I watch, I think I know what's going on. Then they always hit us with that twist. So overall, man, they're doing good. Shout out to the Bloodline. Shout out to Us and them. You know, Fatu's, Anawai's, we're really all one family. But I'm excited. I'm a fan. At the end of the day, I'm like this, though, watching, barbecuing at my house. So it's real good to see, real good to see.
So I'm curious, do you think we're ever going to see Jacob Fatu creep up in that storyline? You think it's happening?
In due time. In due time. I mean, it could be there. It could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. But in due time, man, like I said, leave it in God's hands. And if it happens, it happens. If it don't, I'll still be watching them like this. You know what I'm saying? So overall, very, very proud of my family. Very proud of Solo, what he's done. Very proud of the twins. Very proud of Roman. Just very proud of my family, period. You know, that's it, mate.
What's been your favorite moment for them, whether it be for Roman Reigns, whether it be for the Usos, for Solo?
It was WrestleMania, Saturday and Sunday, to see their main event. You know, when I seen Solo walk out with Roman, like, getting goosebumps, like, just tears in my eyes, man, just seeing the main event. That was the highlight, like, for me, seeing them. Not only that, it happened in California, in L.A., so it was good, man. It was real good. I'm about to cry right now, talking about them right now. But shout out to the boys, though, Us.
Is it easy to stay in touch, obviously being like a big family? Like, are you guys make sure you're on the road, they're on the road?
Absolutely, yeah. Like, you know, they'll tap in, tell me, like, the do's, the don'ts, you know. But we've always been close, way before wrestling, you know. They was shooting me with a paint gun back in the day, you know. But overall, yeah, man, like, we're really family-orientated. We really are. So shout out to Trent, too, Sister Trent over there at TNA. So, yeah, man, we're very family-orientated, and there's the reason why the Samoan dynasty has lasted like this, because we really tap in and we function with each other, you know. So, and shout out to all 7 of my kids out there. and my beautiful wife. I wrestle with the ring on today.
Back at the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. In 1 hour, it will be myself and Lance Storm, and this will be our monthly live Q&A show. So we're not going to really talk about any shows or anything like that unless you ask a question about a show. But it is going to be live for subscribers on both YouTube and Twitch. So if you are a Twitch homie, a subscriber, you can show up in an hour and ask questions to Lance. And we'll do that for the YouTube and the Twitch subscribers. And we'll go about an hour or so, answer all your questions. And whatever you want to know, you can ask Lance, ask me. That's coming up in an hour. Obviously, if you are not a YouTube subscriber or Twitch subscriber, I mean, you can sign up for both. There's big benefits to both. You know, a YouTube subscriber gets all of these shows on video and the full library of shows. So you can go back and watch all of them and watch them live. And with Twitch, you can do it free. You just use your Amazon Prime account and sign up, and you can join the members-only chat, 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern today, me and Lance, and it should be a lot of fun. And then later on tonight, it sounds like Dave wants to do a show. I know some of you are stunned, so we'll see if we can get that done tonight. And if not, he'll be back later in the week for the shows with Garrett. Garrett's doing Observer Radio, apparently, this weekend, so get ready for that. Mike's going to have the run of this place. Vinny is running the Bryan and Vinny show. Yep. He's running the show.
Which are you most nervous about with all of these things?
None of them now.
Here?
None of them.
Oh, you have that much confidence in all of us, huh?
I actually do, believe it or not. If I didn't, I'd bring stuff. I mean, seriously,
you're not even...
You've never screwed up this show, have you?
What? Not intentionally on my own. Can you go ahead and do what you need to do studio-wise this Friday so everything works out okay?
What happened last Friday?
Why are you asking me? I was here.
Oh, was it no one could hear something? I can't remember.
There was no video.
Oh, that I have no idea what's going on. I have nothing to do with video.
Gimmick.
I have nothing to do with video.
It's amazing when it comes to things that you're not responsible for, yet the things that you will take credit for around here. 20 years.
It is funny, isn't it?
It is.
Talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.